Hello, everyone. Welcome to your gentle yoga practice with Melaminah. My name is Melaminah. I will be guiding you through practice today. So in today's class, we will be working with the neck and shoulder area. And this area, I'm sure you're well aware, can become very tight, especially when we're feeling a lot of stress or tension. The tendency is to kind of hold onto that around the neck and shoulder area. We can find that we've got new earrings because it feels like our shoulders are now our earrings, with the shoulders way up around the neck and ears like this. But if we take some time to open up this space, hopefully we can encourage the shoulders to melt down the spine once again, helping to relax them, helping this space stay nice and open. The neck area is associated with our throat chakra. So if we've got it all scrunched up, we might actually find it difficult to communicate what our needs and desires are. And then the shoulders are also associated with the heart center. So oftentimes when we're feeling stressed or if we're feeling insecure or uncertain, we can kind of shrug all of this in and kind of cave in and energetically try to protect our heart space. So we'll work on opening that up a little bit as well. And then this is Gracie, one of our yoga mascots. I'm sure she'll be in and out through practice. So if you have a yoga strap, you might want to grab it today. If you don't have a strap, feel free to grab a belt or a dish towel or a sweater or just anything that can help you to kind of create something to hold on to, a little bit of space. We'll be using this to work into the neck and shoulder area today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to actually start on our back today. So moving any props out of the way so that our spine can be completely flush against our mat. We'll hold on behind one leg and come onto our spine. And let's roll the shoulder blades under a little bit. We're going to start with our feet on the floor, about hips width apart, toes facing forward. And then let's pretend like we have an imaginary ball in between the knees. So rather than letting the knees flop open, we're going to energetically draw them in towards each other, activating the inner thighs. Now the legs won't touch, so let's keep a little bit of space there, but just a gentle activity in the inner thigh. And we'll place one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. Let's just soften the eyes for a moment and settle into our bodies. This may be the first opportunity that we've had all day to just let go of all of the events that have occurred and just be with ourselves and be with our breath for a moment. So maybe we feel the rise and fall of our neck or our belly, our chest or our belly. As we just witness the breath coming in and flowing out of the body. And we'll be here for 2 more cycles of breath. Noticing that with each exhale, we can soften a little more deeply into the support below us. And when we're complete with that second breath, let's go ahead and release the hands to the floor. We'll turn the palms face down. We can blink the eyes open if they were closed, and let's just reposition the shoulders once again. So rolling the shoulders underneath us a little bit more so that the shoulder blade itself is flat on the mat. And then with our palms facing down, we're going to use our arms as a little bit of leverage for a moment to press into the hands, into the arms, into the feet, and start to lift the hips up away from the mat, coming into a bridge pose. And then on our exhale, let's roll down the spine one vertebra at a time until the hips once again touch the floor. We can scoop the tailbone and then roll the spine back up as high as we can without forcing anything, and then rolling the spine back down the mat until the hips once again touch. Let's do one more just like that, rolling the spine up, articulating the vertebra, feeling the weight start to shift into the neck, shoulder, head area, and then rolling the spine down once again, letting the hips touch the floor. This time, let's inhale, press through the feet. We'll take the hips up and take the arms with us. So now we're taking the arms overhead. And then on the exhale, let's see if we can match the pace of the hips and the arms so that they both touch at the same time. The arms might be moving a little bit faster than the hips just because they have more distance to travel. But let's see if we can synchronize those parts of the body so that they move together. And of course, synchronizing with the breath as well, each inhale rolling up, each exhale rolling down. And this will be our last one here. Inhaling, arms overhead, hips up. Exhaling, arms down, hips down. Good. Beautiful job. So let's press through the feet and the arms once again. We can roll the shoulders underneath a little bit more. We're going to hold this bridge pose for a couple of breaths, creating space in the sacrum here. So feeling the outer edges of the hips lifting up as we press through the feet, knees reaching forward towards the space in front. And then let's roll the shoulders under even more. Walk the fingers towards the feet, and maybe if it's available, we can clasp the hands underneath us. If we've got that dish towel or strap available or handy, we can slide it underneath as well. If we don't have it yet, that's okay. Maybe hands are clasped. If so, pinkies are down, wrists are straight. Breathing here, making adjustments as necessary. The back of the head gently pressing into the floor, feeling a gentle openness in the throat as we breathe into the shoulders, breathe into the chest. We're here for one more cycle of breath. Notice the strength in the lower body, supporting the upper body as the upper body gently opens here. Good. And then let's release the hands if they're clasped, and we'll roll the spine down one vertebra at a time. Good. Let's hug the knees into the chest, holding behind the legs to support the knee joint. We'll just give a couple gentle rocks from side to side. Releasing the effort from that last pose. And then let's pause in the center. We'll lift our head up, drawing our nose towards our knees, just squeezing into a tight little ball here. Releasing the back of the neck. Let's melt the shoulders down. They're going to want to hunch up. Let's see if we can melt the shoulders down and away as we tuck the chin, drawing the nose towards the knees. They don't have to touch. Last breath. Good, and then we'll unfurl ourselves from that little ball. Let's roll over to our side and press ourselves gently up, coming into a seated position. So it looks like I've lost my blanket, which is fine. I'll just come into a seated position on the floor. If you wish to sit up on a blanket or a bolster or a pillow, that's fine. Supporting and lifting the hips just a little. If you're sitting on something, let's just scoot towards the edge of that so that the hips can, the pelvis can tip slightly forward, keeping a nice long spine. So option one is to come into Sukhasana with the legs crossed. Option two is to bring the bottoms of the feet together in cobbler pose or butterfly pose. And we can take the feet just a little bit farther forward today. Sometimes it's nice to put bricks or maybe some thick books under the knees, or we can just let gravity gently draw the knees towards the earth. So let's go ahead and grab that strap or dish towel or blanket or anything else, anything else that can serve as a strap. We'll just readjust the spine once again, make sure the spine is nice and tall, and then let's take the strap in our hands. We'll extend the arms forward right out from the shoulder sockets. So hands are about shoulders width apart. Let's take an inhale, drawing the arms up overhead as far as feels good in our body today. And then on the exhale, let's release the hands back down in front. Good. Inhaling, arms up, biceps beside the ears if we can make them, reach them there. And then exhaling, releasing down. Good. Let's do that again. Inhaling, drawing the arms up, shoulder blades come down and towards kind of the tips of the shoulder blades sort of angle down together as they recede down our spine. And then let's exhale and release. Good. If that feels good, we're going to stay with that. Inhaling, drawing the arms up, and then exhaling, releasing down. If we wish to add on, we'll inhale, arms up, exhale, let the hands slide apart, and then draw the shoulders, draw the arms back behind. And then inhaling, drawing the arms back up, and exhaling towards the front. Good. So if that's the option that we're choosing, we'll start over with the hands about shoulders width apart again. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms back and behind. Let the hands spread wide. And then inhaling, coming back up, and exhaling in front. Good. So you keep moving at whichever pace, in whichever option feels best. And I'm just going to say one more note. If we're inhaling, arms up, and taking the arms behind, let's keep the arms straight rather than doing something like this where we're bending the arms, because that way we're not really getting into the shoulders if we're doing that. We want to keep the arms nice and straight. Just let the hands slide away from each other, and then let the arms come back behind any amount. There's no destination here. We'll do 2 more cycles of whichever version we have chosen today. And as always, we're always listening to our own body. We're choosing whatever version of the pose feels best in our body right here, right now. So maybe one day we're able to bring the arms behind the back, but maybe today that doesn't feel as good. So always listening into our own body. Good. Let's bring the arms back in front if they're not there already, and we'll just release the strap. Let's set it off to the side for a moment and just pause, maybe softening the eyes, noticing what we notice, feeling what we feel in the shoulders. That last movement is not only a shoulder opener, it's a little bit of a strengthener too. Just the up and down motion of the shoulders creates some strength there. So just reflecting, noticing whatever sensations might be alive. Maybe you feel a gentle warmth, maybe a comfortable fatigue. And we'll just be here for one more breath, noticing without judgment, feeling without expectation. Good. And then if the eyes are closed, let's blink them open. If the knees are out to the sides, let's go ahead and use our hands to gently draw the knees back towards each other. And then option to either recross the legs or option to extend the legs out in front. So whatever feels best for your back, go ahead and do that. I'm going to fold my legs in, and let's inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. On the exhale, left hand to the mat. Let's take a dive over to that left side. We're going to create some shoulder circles here. So nice big circles, moving super slowly, almost like we were swimming through peanut butter. So really taking our time with this shoulder circle. And then let's pause and reverse, going the second way. So milking this movement, feeling what it feels like through the entire 360-degree circle. Circular motions draw synovial fluid into our joints, helping to lubricate them, helping them move a little bit more easily, more gracefully, more gently. Good. We'll do one more circle in this direction. We're also opening up the heart a little bit here. We might even follow our hand with our gaze. And then let's take an inhale. We'll come back to center. Inhaling, sweeping both arms up. On the exhale, let's draw the palms together and bring the palms down to our heart space. We'll do that twice more. Inhaling, arms up, palms together. Exhaling, hands down to our heart space, maybe even bowing the chin. And then last one, inhaling, arms sweep up, palms together. Exhaling, hands down to heart center. Good. On our next in-breath, both arms up. And then exhaling, right hand down to the mat. Let's take that nice big side bend over to the right here. And then we'll create those circles. So starting in whichever direction feels good first, we'll go in both directions. But just starting with one direction here. Nice big circular motions. Most of today's practice can be done in a chair as well. Obviously, we started on our back at the very beginning of practice, but for a lot of these other motions, you can do this in a chair if that feels better for you. Let's go ahead and release that circle and start to orbit in the second direction. Nice big circular motions, making that circle only as big as feels good in your shoulder today. So finding the edges of our movement and exploring those and also respecting those. Good. Last one. Beautiful. On our inhale, we'll come all the way back up, both hands up, palms together. Let's go ahead and draw the hands to our heart space. Beautiful. Okay, so let's reverse the cross of our legs if we're in a seated position. And we're gonna work with our neck a little bit more. So let's draw the chin towards the chest, melting the shoulders down and away, chest lifting. Just breathing here for a moment, letting the neck release, letting the shoulders soften. We might even bring our hands to our thighs, maybe sliding the arms back just a little bit so that the elbows can swing freely underneath the shoulders. And then let's start to bring some gentle movement to the head and neck. So circling our right ear over towards our right shoulder, and on the exhale, bringing chin towards chest. When we're ready, making our way over towards the second side, left ear over left shoulder, and then once again, chin towards chest. So challenging ourselves today to move as slowly as we can. Noticing that the slower we go, the more sensation we're able to notice. And we might even notice that, oh, I need to stay here for a moment, wherever here is. Just finding that spot where we feel the most sensation and then maybe holding that spot for a breath or two. And then once again, resuming our half circles. The next time the right ear comes over the right shoulder, let's pause there for a moment. Melting the shoulders away. Once again, let's take the left hand over towards the left side, fingertips on the floor, shoulders soft. We might crawl the fingertips away a little bit more, just deepening into the sensation on the left side of the neck. And then finding that perfect spot for us today. So making teeny tiny little micro movements, dialing in to that space where we feel the most. If you're like me, if you've been in a lot of car accidents, I've sustained a lot of cervical spine injuries. So neck openers are bittersweet for me. I find a lot of crunchiness in my neck a lot of times, but it also feels so good to just breathe into those spaces, using the breath to open them up. If this feels good, let's stay here. If we want more, we'll take our right hand and gently rest it on the side of our head, the left side of the head, just letting the weight of our hand open up, deepen into that stretch. Good. Nice, full, deep cycles of breathing. And then if we're choosing this option, I'd like to invite us to explore an active stretch as well. So right now we're just passively letting gravity and our breath do the work. If we'd like to explore an active stretch, let's press our head up into our hand. So now we're activating the muscles on the side of the neck a little bit for a nice dynamic stretch. Just one more breath here. We don't want to hold too terribly long, and then we'll go ahead and soften. Let's release the hand, We'll gently sweep the chin towards the chest once again. Let's just pause in the middle and notice the left side of the neck, the right side of the neck. See if we can sense any differences, knowing that difference does not mean bad or wrong or better or worse. They're just different. When we're ready, we'll sweep our left ear over towards our left shoulder. Let's melt the shoulders away once again. We can start with hands on thighs if that feels more grounded or supported. And then maybe we explore extending the right hand off to the side. We can crawl the fingers away a little bit more if we'd like. Finding a deeper opening on the right side of the neck. Breathing here, just letting that left ear dangle heavily over the left shoulder. Chest is lifted. Spine is still nice and long. And then when we're ready, if we chose to rest our hand on our head on the first side, we can take our left hand gently over to the right temple and just rest the hand here as well. Just noticing what that feels like to have a little bit of assistance in the stretch. As we breathe full, deep cycles of breath. If this feels good, we'll stay here. If we chose to explore that dynamic stretch on the first side, let's try it here too. So we'll start to press the head gently up into the hand, activating those muscles, nice active dynamic stretch here, just for a couple of breaths. We don't need to hold too terribly long. And then let's go ahead and release. Good. We'll release our hand, sweep the chin towards the chest once again, and let's take an inhale, drawing the head back up. So if the legs are crossed, let's go ahead and extend the legs long. We'll bend just the right knee. Couple of options here. We can keep the right knee, the right foot on the inside of the left leg, or if it's available, we can step it to the outside. Let's activate our left leg. So spreading the toes, pressing through the ball and the heel as if we were going to press our foot into the wall. With this right foot, we'll glue it down to the floor and just sort of notice that the right hip magically all on its own starts to lift. So we can resituate the hips so that both sitting bones are down on the floor, on the ground. Active left leg. Let's wrap our arms or our hands around the right leg, and then we'll take our left arm around that leg here. Good. Sitting up nice and tall with a straight spine. Let's take the right hand back behind us for a gentle twist. Shoulders stacking over the hips. As we keep our spine tall, the right hand can serve as a little bit of a kickstand, helping to keep the spine long as well. Continuing to hug the right knee in towards the chest with our left arm. And then let's keep everything except for the head. We'll start to turn our head over towards the left shoulder. Watch that right shoulder. It's going to want to come forward or maybe up. Let's see if we can continue to invite it down and away. We're here for one more cycle of breath. And then let's use our inhale to bring our gaze back over the right shoulder. We'll pause here. If we're good where we are, we can stay right here. If we want a little bit more, we can slide our left elbow inside the right knee and then gently press that elbow into the knee, creating some space in between the shoulder blades here. So watching the shoulders, making sure they're not creeping up as we're in this posture, but letting them melt down towards the floor. Gentle activity as the left elbow presses into the right knee. One more breath in this twist. Let's go ahead and unwind, coming back to the front. And we'll take just a quick counter twist over to the second side. So here it's okay if we lean a little bit, just a little counter twist to the left. And then an inhale brings us back to center. Let's extend the legs long. We'll give them a little shake, maybe even some tapping on the sides of the legs here, on the inner thighs as well. Just waking up the legs a little bit. We're not doing a whole lot for the low body today, but we do want to incorporate our low body as well. Tapping is a great way to also stimulate our immune system. So just waking that up. Good. And then let's switch sides. So we'll activate our right leg and bend the left knee. Either staying here, or we can take that left foot over to the right side. Let's sit tall in the middle to start with. So even here, shoulders are right on top of the hips, and we want to keep that as we twist. So we'll wrap our right arm around the leg. Let's sweep the left hand back behind us. That left hand serving as a little kickstand. We'll keep hugging this left knee in towards the midline, so kind of up towards our heart, staying grounded in this sitting bone. So as we're twisting, especially in the upper spine, we're getting a nice opening on the outer hip here as well. Let's stay connected to the lengthened leg out in front of us, belly drawing in as we look over our left shoulder. Nice twist of the shoulders and neck here as well. That twist traveling all the way down to our hips. And then we'll keep our torso as is, but let's free the head, swiveling the head over towards the right shoulder. And then we'll tuck the chin just a little bit. Sometimes I know when I twist, I tend to lift the chin a little bit, and I get kind of this awkward like diagonal. Let's see if we can keep the twist nice and straight. So we'll tuck the chin just a little so that we stay long in the back of the neck. The left shoulder continuing to move back behind us as the right shoulder twists more towards the left side. And then let's start to move our gaze back over that left shoulder. If we want more, we can slide the right arm inside the knee and just give a little bit of extra oomph here so that we can get just a little bit more space in between the shoulder blades, the back of the heart. Staying connected to all bits and pieces of our body as we take one more breath in this twisted pose. Good. Let's take an inhale, making our way back to the front of the room, and we'll uncross the legs and we'll just give them a little shake once again. Good. Beautiful, beautiful job. Let's transition to our all fours. So we'll bring the knees underneath the hips, the hands underneath the shoulders, and just make our way into a cat and a cow pose. If there's another way you'd like to move your spine, if you want to make circles, if you want to simply bend at the hip a little bit, looking over one shoulder and then the other, please feel free to explore that movement as well. No matter where our hands are, let's spread the fingers nice and wide, pressing all four corners of the palm into the earth. Gripping the floor with our finger pads, activating the hands, activating the arms as we move our spine here for 2 more cycles of breath. Okay, on our next inhale, let's make our way back to all fours on a neutral spine. And I'm gonna invite us to come into a side plank. So I'm gonna have my leg go towards the camera first just so you can see me. But with the left leg, we're gonna make a little kickstand. So we'll take the leg at kind of like a 90-degree angle to the body. And then let's take the left hand forward a little bit. Here, if we prefer to substitute a fist, we can do that. So we'll take the hand towards the midline, and then we'll extend the right leg towards the right edge of the mat. So this is kind of what it's gonna look like from behind. And now I'll turn the other way. So kicking the left leg back behind us, extending the right leg towards the back of our mat, and then either fist on the floor or hand on the floor. I prefer fist, it's a little more gentle for the wrist. Let's make sure the fist is right underneath the shoulder. Let's press the hips forward. Good. Coming into a kneeling side plank here. So strengthening this shoulder. We're welcome to stay here. If we want more, we can bring the feet together, maybe one foot in front of the other. This is way more challenging. So listening to our body. If this feels good, we can stay here. We can keep that one knee on the ground for a little more of a gentle support in this side plank. We're here for one more breath. Good. And then let's release into a plank pose. So kneeling plank with knees on the floor, or we can have knees lifted. Let's release the heels towards the floor, scoop the tailbone, bottom ribs drawing in and up. If the knees are on the ground, that's okay too. Strengthening the shoulders here. We've got 2 more cycles of breath. Spreading the fingers, pressing all 4 corners into the floor. Good, and then let's release into child's pose. Big toes together at the back of our mat, widening our knees. We'll sink the hips towards the heels and just nestle in for a child's pose. Releasing the shoulders by bringing our hands back by our feet. Option to gently rock or option to stay in stillness. Just breathing into the upper body, the neck, the shoulder area. Maybe even rocking the forehead gently from side to side to release tension across the brow bone. And when we're ready, we'll extend the arms forward once again. Let's explore the second side. So we'll turn the right knee, kind of right foot out, kickstanding that right foot. And then maybe our fist on the floor right underneath our shoulder as we extend the left foot towards the back edge of our mat. Let's bring our left hand to our left hip and then press the hips forward. So we are getting a little bit of opening in the hip flexors here as well as we open our heart space, pressing the hand into the floor. So sometimes we end up crashing into this shoulder. Let's lift up and out of that shoulder girdle as we explore our side plank here. And then again, if we wish, we can bring both feet towards each other, keep lifting the bottom hip up towards the sky here. This is a big, big strengthener for the shoulder. So if that's too intense today, we can keep the knee on the ground. Always listening to where our body is at in this moment and matching the pose that works best to that. Last breath here. Good. When we come out of the pose, we're going to find our way into that plank position once again. So option for knees down or option for knees up, whichever we prefer. And if we're practicing knees down, we can come up for just one breath and then return the knees to the floor. That's a great way to practice building strength. Take it nice and slow. We can keep the toes curled under and then just lift the knees and then return the knees back down. Maybe doing that once or twice as we hold the pose here, feeling that core strengthening happening, the shoulder strengthening happening. Last breath, whichever version we're in. And then let's go ahead and release into child's pose. If we'd like, this time we can keep the legs close together and fold our torso over that, which just creates a deeper rounding in the spine. This may or may not feel good for your back, so please, if it feels better, we can take the knees wider. And then let's bring the hands towards the feet once again. Option to rock gently or option to stay in stillness as we reconnect with our breathing and notice sensation. Good. Let's extend the arms forward and we'll take the knees right underneath our shoulder, our hips. Let's walk the hands way far out in front of us. We're going to tent up onto the fingertips, making our way into Anahatasana prep, or this is puppy pose. So coming up onto the fingertips, fingers are tented up. Elbows are lifting, shoulders are lifting, and then let's melt the heart right in between. So it's kind of a hybrid between downward facing dog and child's pose. In child's pose and in down dog, we melt the heart towards the earth. So we're doing that here as well. Knees right underneath our hips, shoulders lifting, elbows lifting, pressing the fingers into the floor and away. So almost like we were gonna stretch our yoga mat out in front of us. Let's keep scooping the tail, keep softening the heart, melting the space right in between the shoulder blades towards the floor. Our forehead may or may not touch the mat. If we'd like, we can put a brick or a book underneath the forehead, or we can just let it be free in space. Belly drawing in and up, protecting the low back, stabilizing the spine. Bottom ribs drawing in and up as well. So sometimes we end up doing this kind of, end up in this kind of posture, but we want to really scoop the tailbone under, draw the bottom ribs in and up, and then dive the heart towards the floor. Last breath in puppy pose. Good, and then to come out of the posture, we'll lift up a little bit. Let's walk our hands back towards our legs, and we'll come to just a kneeling position on our knees for a moment. If we need extra padding underneath our legs while we're here, we can slide a blanket under if we'd like. And let's go ahead and grab that strap again. So if we're feeling really brave today and we want to get into the feet a little bit as well, we can curl the toes under and sit back towards the heels. This is a nice deep stretch for the arch of the foot, the very bottom of our foot as well. The stretch, we can stretch our toes this way too. So if we're feeling like we want some spice in our practice today, we can definitely explore this option. If we are not interested in that, that's totally fine. We can keep the top of our foot down. And at any time, we can come off of our toes and just bring the top of our foot to the floor. So let's grab our strap. And we'll throw this strap carefully over our left shoulder. Let's take the left arm across the body. And notice the shoulder wants to hike up again. We're gonna melt it down. Energy through the hand, so reaching all the way through the fingertips. Let's hold somewhere above or below the elbow, not directly on the elbow joint itself. We don't wanna put any undue pressure on any joints. So we'll just soften this left shoulder down away from the ear. Nice deep stretch, even in that gentle action. If we want more, we can drop our right ear towards the right shoulder, deepening into this stretch. And if the head is tilted, let's bring the chin towards the chest and lift the chin up once again. We'll take the left arm now, let's sweep it behind our back. So we're looking for bringing our hand kind of towards the middle of our back, right at our heart center. We might have that strap available, we can hold the strap. If we don't have a strap, we can also hold our shirt. So we have lots of options in this posture. Our hand may not directly meet the very center of our back, and that's okay too. Let's use our right hand to gently walk our left shoulder, our left elbow towards the middle of our body, towards the midline. And then we'll take the right hand, flip the palm back towards the wall behind us, and slide the back of our hand up our back. So now here we can hold the strap in between our hands, or we can hold our shirt if that's more accessible, or if it's available, we might even hold fingertips to fingertips. So just not forcing anything, but just seeing how far we can get in the pose today and being there. Left elbow up towards the sky, right elbow angling down as much as feels good, as much as we can get it there. Not forcing anything, but exploring the edges of where we are today. Let's scoop the tailbone down towards the floor. Keep lengthening up through the crown of the head. And let's lift the chin just a little bit. So now the back of our head is gently pressing into our left arm, helping to open up here in cow face arms. We're here for one more cycle of breath. Good work, everyone. Good, and then to come out of the pose, let's release our right hand first, and then release the left hand. We'll just take our hands out to the side for a moment, maybe even closing the eyes, just to notice the sensation. All right, we'll blink the eyes open once again. If we wish to stay kneeling, we can. If we want to transition into Sukhasana, we can do that too. Whatever feels good for the legs. We can also have the legs extended. Let's move the strap over to the right shoulder, and we'll take that right arm across the body. So noticing once again, the shoulder wants to hike up, we're gonna melt it down into the socket, energy through the fingers, actively stretching without over activity. So finding that place between effort and effortlessness. So there is activity. We are mindfully engaged in the pose. The muscles are active and turned on. They're not just limp and hanging there, but there is a softening to that. So we're not super, tense in our movement, but there is energy and aliveness in the movement. Good. Let's go ahead and release that. We'll take our right arm up towards the sky and then bend at the elbow, bringing our hand somewhere behind our back. Let's use our left hand to gently work that elbow a little bit closer in. So we're trying to see if we can get a straight line here with our arm. It may not happen today. That's okay. We'll take our left arm out to the side. Let's flip the palm towards the wall behind us and then slide the back of our hand up our spine. So either holding that strap or holding our shirt or holding our fingers. Let's scoop the tailbone. So tailbone draws down, belly button draws in, bottom ribs draw in, nice long spine, reaching up through the crown of the head, tucking the chin, lifting the chin just a little bit. So naturally we kind of end up with the chin tucked. We want to lift the chin just a little so that our chin is parallel to the floor. Breathing into the arms, the shoulders. Good work, everyone. Let's go ahead and gently release. We'll release the right arm and then the left arm opens up. Let's take the fingertips out to the side, closing the eyes, just pausing. Good. We'll blink the eyes open if they were closed. Excuse me. And let's go ahead and remove the strap off to the side once again. And if we've been sitting on our lower body all this time, it'll feel really nice to release the legs. We've been giving our legs some compression. So let's go ahead and just kind of kick out the feet a little bit here, waking them up a little bit, enlivening them, bringing new fluid into these areas that we've just squeezed the fluid out of. All right, so let's come onto our belly. I think I'm going to face this way if you need to see a demonstration of this next pose. So, but you can stay on your mat. Let's come onto our belly, and we want the top of our feet down on the floor. Let's inner rotate the legs just a little bit so that the top of the thigh is down towards the floor and all 10 toenails are down as well. Extending the left arm out to the side, we get to decide the angle of our arm here. So completely out to the side, like directly, is going to be probably the most intense. If we need it less intense, more gentle, we can take the arm up a little bit, but we can play with this angle as we go. So taking the arm out to the side, let's walk the hand as far away as we can possibly get it. Tenting up onto the fingertips of the right hand, elbow facing the sky, let's start to walk our hand so much that we roll onto the left side of the body. So we'll pause here for a moment, just kind of balancing on the left hip, the left inner shoulder, the side of our head, pressing through the bottoms of the feet, gluing the legs together to start with. And then if we need a little bit of support for balance, we can bend the top knee and either bring the foot in front, or for more intensity, we can take the foot behind. The hips are going to act as like a little pivot or counterpoint here. So as the hips drop backwards, it's going to increase the intensity in our shoulder, inner shoulder area. So determining how far we wish to go in this pose, and then breathing there. Full deep cycles of breath, letting the breath go into any areas of tightness, opening them up. So as things get more challenging, the tendency is to hold the breath. And let's see if instead we can breathe into that challenging space. Okay, good work. When we feel complete, we will carefully return the leg on top of the other leg, and then slowly roll back onto our belly. And we can draw the arms in, we can rest our head, our chin on our hands, maybe wiggling the hips from side to side. If we prefer, we can rest our forehead on our hands. Just taking a breath here. And then when we're ready, we will move to the second side. So the second side I'll do from here, from this angle. Taking our right arm out to the side, let's walk the hand as far away as we can get it. And then tenting up onto the fingertips of the left hand, elbow towards the sky. Let's start to roll over onto the right side of the body. And we're using that left hand as like a little kickstand here to help keep us upright. So we can walk that arm closer if we need to. Let's keep scooping the tailbone towards the heels, spreading the toes, activating the feet. So we're kind of balancing on the right side of our body for a moment. And then if we want more, we can bend the knee of our left foot, either bringing it in front of our extended leg or behind. And then if we bring the leg behind, let's see if we can soften into the hips any amount. And just notice what that does in our shoulder when we do that. Breathing. And softening. So noticing where your tendency is to hold on and seeing if you can send the breath there, releasing into it, opening up, letting go. All right, and then let's go ahead and extend the top leg once again. Slowly, carefully rolling onto the belly, coming out of the pose. Resting our head on our hands, maybe bringing our feet into the sky. We can swish the legs from side to side, releasing the low back. Good. Let's go ahead and quiet the feet. We'll take our fingers up into that tented position. Let's take the hands off of our mat. So nice wide stance. Tops of the feet pressing into the floor. We might feel our knees lift away from the mat. Let's scoop the tailbone. We're going to rest our forehead on the floor. Let's lift just the shoulder blades up towards the sky. Breathing into the neck here, breathing into the shoulders. Creating space around the neck, around the ears, strengthening the shoulders. And then let's go ahead and release and soften. We'll rest for a moment. Maybe wiggling the hips or staying in stillness. Good, and then let's find that same position again. So fingers tented, hands off of the mat. Forehead resting on the floor. We'll start to press the tops of the feet down, the knees magically lift. Let's scoop the tailbone, squeeze the shoulder blades up towards the sky, and then on an inhale, let's lift up any amount. So pelvis is going to stay down on the floor. And then let's go ahead and release. And we'll move with the breath a couple times here. Inhaling, lifting up. Pelvis stays down on the mat. Exhaling to release. Good. Let's just do that a few more times, moving with our own breath. We don't have to come up very high. We're listening to our low back here. Going only as high as feels good for our body today. Let's stay active in the low body. So the more we press the feet into the mat, the better protected our low back will be. And then on this next one, we're going to hold it for a couple of breaths. So hands might flatten if that feels better. If we want, we can even straighten the arms a little bit, coming into seal pose. This will be a wide armed seal pose. Let's keep pressing the tops of the feet down, shoulders melting down and away, heart reaching forward. And then maybe we turn our gaze over the right shoulder. And then back to center. Let's keep the shoulders actively moving down and away, even as we turn the head over the left shoulder. And then back to center. And carefully releasing down. Good. We can take the feet in the sky, gently rocking from side to side. And then let's go ahead and quiet the feet. We'll slide the hands underneath our shoulders, very carefully, very gently, pressing ourselves all the way back into child's pose. Knees might be wide, or knees might be towards each other. As we breathe into our low back, we can keep the arms extended, or we can wrap the arms on the side of the body, letting the shoulders go. Option to rock gently, option to stay in stillness. Just taking a couple of breaths here. Let's extend the arms forward once again on an inhale. We'll come back to a seated position. And let's bring the bottoms of our feet together once again. Sitting up nice and tall with a straight spine. We'll do one more thing for our neck here, lengthening through the crown of the head. And then let's take our left hand over to, over towards the right collarbone. And then very gently, just taking the skin, so our hand is touching the collarbone, and then gently drawing down on the skin. We'll start to lift the chin and then angle over towards the left shoulder. So we can dial it in here. We might even open and close the jaw a couple of times. So we're basically stretching the fascia. The fascia is that layer right underneath the skin before the muscle. It's not as deep as the muscle. And this part of our body, especially on the front of our neck here, just doesn't seem to get a whole lot of love. So we can find those teeny tiny micro movements, dialing in what feels best. And then maybe pausing in one place where we feel a lot of sensation. And then let's go ahead and release the hand. We'll carefully bring the chin down towards the chest. Let's keep the chest lifted, the shoulders melting. And just chin towards chest for a breath or two. Inhaling, lifting the chin, blinking the eyes open, and let's do the second side. So right hand on our left collarbone and starting to lift the chin up. Now we want to keep the chin, the back of the neck, we don't want to crash into the neck. We've been doing a lot today to really open up this area. So we want to keep it open. So even as the chin lifts, we're not like crashing back. So there's still a lifting up through the occipital bones, the back of our head here, lifting up towards the ceiling. So think more up rather than back. Lifting the chin and then maybe tilting over to one side. We might open and close the jaw to explore sensation here. Making whatever micro movements we need. And the hand that's on the collarbone is ever so slightly just resting there. The tiniest little downward motion. Hardly any weight in that hand at all. As we just gently give the skin and tissue a gentle stretch. Good, let's release the hand. And drawing the chin towards the chest once again, sitting tall with a straight spine, melting the shoulders away. Let's just be here for a couple of breaths. And then inhaling, lifting the chin, blinking the eyes open. We'll use our hands to bring the knees together. And let's make our way onto our spine once again. So coming into a seated position, holding behind one leg and coming onto our back. We can rock gently from side to side. Let's hug the knees in close. We'll take the hands out in a cactus position. Knees stay hugging in. Let's flex the toes, spreading the toes wildly, and then dropping the knees over towards the left. The knees won't touch, so let's only come down maybe halfway or 3/4, and then coming back. And then second side. Let's see if we can keep the shoulder blades in contact with the earth the whole time. And then back to center. We'll just do that from side to side for a couple of breaths. Let's start to lengthen the exhale. Inhaling back to center. And then exhaling, seeing if we can get the exhale to be about twice as long as the inhale. So if we like to count, maybe counting the inhale up to 4 and then seeing if we can exhale for a count of 8. And if we'd like to add on a mudra with the hands out in this cactus position, we can curl the index finger in to the junction where the thumb connects to the palm. The other fingers are straight, and then the thumb just kind of rests on the curled in index finger. This is Vayu Mudra. This mudra helps to release excess air in the body, the element air in the body, helping to calm the nervous system and further release stress and tension, especially of the upper body. So we'll dip the knees over towards the side one more time on each side, just so that we feel nice and even. And when we're complete with that, let's go ahead and lengthen the legs out towards the space in front of us. Taking the feet towards the corners of the mat, letting the feet flop open. And then we'll take our arms by our sides, rolling the shoulder blades underneath us, making our way into Shavasana. Our final relaxation, we can let go of that mudra if we had it, softening the eyes. And we'll take one cleansing breath here, breathing in through the nose, filling up, and a soft open mouth exhale, letting everything go. If you'd like to remain in your Shavasana for longer, please do. Otherwise, if you're ready to complete your practice, please begin to deepen the breath. Feeling the belly rise and fall with each breath. And when you're ready for more, wiggling fingers and toes, or maybe circling wrists and ankles, possibly even exploring a full body stretch, taking the arms overhead, the feet forward, waking up to this new way of being. And when you're ready, bending both knees, gently rolling to one side, pausing here for a breath. Noticing and acknowledging any shifts or changes or transformation that has occurred during the course of your practice. And with as little effort as possible, let's make our way back up into seated, softening the eyes closed once again, uniting the hands together in front of the heart space, bowing the chin towards the chest in a symbol of gratitude for this opportunity to move our bodies, to be on our mat, to practice in some semblance of community. May our yoga practice be an opportunity for us to release the stress and tension that accumulates in the body, gently and safely releasing it, that energy that no longer serves, back into the universe, giving it back to the earth for her to mulch it, to turn it into something new energy that then enlivens us and revives us. Thank you for coming to practice today. Thank you for practicing yoga. Namaste. Great job. Thank you so much. If you have questions, comments, concerns, or interpretive dances, my name is Melaminah. You can leave a comment below, or you can reach me at melaminah.com. If you feel called to make a donation for today's practice, you can also do that at my website, melaminah.com. There's a button in the upper right-hand corner that says donate now. Just click on that and feel free to gift whatever feels good for you. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thank you for watching this video, practicing along with me. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. See you next time. Bye-bye.